Did you want to show the video first?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tammy Eisenreich, and I'm a parent partner for the Lucas County Board of Developmental Disabilities. And today I am thrilled to be talking with Meghan Hawkins from A Kid Again. She is here in Ohio at the Northern Ohio chapter, and she's going to share some of the fun, amazing things you guys have done. What caught my eye recently was that you were here at the Imagination Station here in Toledo.
Yes.
Here in April. How did that event go? Or I guess maybe we should start with what you guys do and what that was. And, we'd love to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. So, A Kid Again is a national organization. We serve families who are raising children with life-threatening conditions, and we do that by hosting year-round events, and we call those adventures, just to spice it up a little bit. These adventures are completely cost-free to our families. We cover the charge for parking, admission, food, everything that it's going to take to make this day just really special for our families. And they're specifically designed to include the entire family. So not just the sick child, but their siblings and their parents as well, because we know that when a child is going through an illness like this, it affects the entire family. So our goal is to give them a timeout or a break from hospital visits, treatments, doctor's appointments, to just put everything aside and spend time as a family, and then give them the opportunity to connect with other families who are going through a similar situation. Our Northern Ohio chapter, we cover, well, the entire northern part of Ohio. So it's about 41 counties from border to border. That includes Youngstown, Cleveland, Toledo, Sandusky, all the way down to Mansfield area. And then we have a couple of other chapters in Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Central Carolinas, and we're growing at a national rate as well through another program that I'll share in a little bit. But our chapter in Northern Ohio, we host about 8 larger scale adventures a year. So on average, we see about 500 to more than 1,000 people at any given adventure. Just depends on which adventure it is. As Tammy mentioned, we took our families about 2 weeks ago to Imagination Station. We have grown exponentially in the Toledo area. And so we wanted to make sure that we brought adventure to our families up there, because obviously it's so easy to just have some in our backyard in Cleveland, but we want to serve those families as well. So we teamed up with Imagination Station and had a wonderful time. We had over 500 people registered for it. And of course, it was a beautiful day. And for an indoor adventure, I kind of always wish for rain, because who doesn't want to spend a beautiful day outside? But our families still showed up. We covered admission, parking. We had a private area for lunch, and kids got access to everything that Imagination Station has to offer. And it was just a really beautiful, awesome day. Imagination Station is so cool. I always say if I don't like the adventure, I don't think the kids are, because I'm definitely a kid at heart. And I was playing just as much games as they were, and it was just a really beautiful day. So that's just one of our adventures that we have this year. We have a handful more coming up, so still busy with planning all the fun for our families.
Good. Well, we're going to take a look at your website.
Okay.
We'll start there. Oh, and I got to remember to do the share the sound, right? Okay. I was going to show, but I don't have sound. Maybe my day is not, because can you see this? Oh, it's muted there. That's why. Okay. Your video starts right in.
It really does.
Doctor visits, chemotherapy, and time away from family that can be so hard. That's where A Kid Again comes in. A Kid Again provides adventures for families raising children with life-threatening conditions. Zoo visits, a day at the amusement park, sporting events, and activities delivered right to a family's home through Adventures in a Box. All bring families together to create positive memories. At A Kid Again, illness stops and adventures begin. We know days that are filled with hospitals.
Okay. So that is your website. You did say you had a Facebook page for.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. This is the general A Kid Again one. I guess let's start with life-threatening conditions. What would fall under that? Like I have a couple families like with cerebral palsy, would Down syndrome, or do
That's
you?
a great question. So at this time, we actually have over 400 qualifying diagnoses. Cerebral palsy is one of them. Down syndrome can be if it's coupled with heart disease or something else. With that many diagnoses, when families enroll online, it's a super easy process through our website. Those applications are automatically sent to our national office in Columbus, Ohio, and each application is individually reviewed by our medical advisory committee, and they are able to take a look at each child individually based on what we know off their application and determine whether something is deemed life-threatening. As I mentioned, over 400 diagnoses at this time are for auto qualifiers, meaning we know that those are deemed life-threatening by the medical community, and those families are welcome to join.
Okay, so
I'm sorry.
sorry. Well, in my mind, I have two family. I have a genetic that like the 22q
Yeah.
deletion. My mind was thinking of certain families that I find are in and out of the hospital constantly.
Absolutely.
And this is what always appealed to me, is that day for the whole family to get together and just enjoy and not stress about all of that.
Yes.
So I'm looking at the 3 chapters here in Ohio, and I thought, well, there's the northern one. I thought the apply, like you said, talks about your adventures, your calendar, enroll a child. So that would
Yes.
be super easy, right? Like
Yes.
they just
Everything's right online. It takes less than 10 minutes to fill out everything. It's just some basic information that we need. And the only 2 qualifications is the child must be under 20 years old. Once a child within our program turns 20, they graduate from our program, and we're definitely sad to see them go, but so many of our families end up coming back and volunteering, which is really fun, and I always love it. And we definitely have opportunity for them to still be involved with a kid again. So that's really awesome. And then the second qualification is that the condition must be deemed life-threatening. But like I said, if someone's maybe not sure if it's deemed life-threatening, they can always reach out to our national office, a local chapter, whatever they're most comfortable with. But I would always encourage someone to apply. We know that each child is an individual and their story is completely different than another. And so our team wants to make sure we understand each child and their condition and everything behind it. So if we do need a little bit more information, myself and my counterparts at all of the other chapters will reach out to families individually and, ask those questions and make sure that we learn as much as we can to get them enrolled.
Okay. So the epilepsy, that was one that she had as well. And that
yes, there's quite a few, and I will say this changes every day. At the end of last year, probably October, there were only a little over 300 qualifying diagnoses. So we are really learning more every single day and adding more to it, and just having a better understanding of all of the medical parts of what our kids go through. So that's really important to us to be able to understand and make sure that we can serve them in the best possible way.
Oh, wonderful. So I'm going to just I see that the next event, I don't know if we want to look at the calendar, you're at the Cleveland Zoo.
Yeah.
So can families, like if you're in the northern chapter, are you only allowed to do the activities in the northern chapter? Like, let's say, the reason I ask is being here in Toledo, to go towards Cleveland is 2 hours, to go towards Columbus is 2 hours. Like we're kind of that way. So
Yeah.
would family be able to pick and choose?
So once you're enrolled with a chapter, you do have to attend their events. However, we have a number of families, if they join Northern Ohio, let's say, and they realize, hey, I think Central Ohio might be better, or even Michigan, you can fill out a chapter request change, and that goes to our national office, and they'll take it from there. We have a lot of families that might two locations work best for them. And so they just need to, really take a look and see what is most convenient for their families. But once they are registered, unfortunately, we can't bounce around. We've tried that. It didn't work out. So right now it's just within the chapter that you're enrolled with.
And I would think part of it is you want these families to get to know each other too, correct? I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
that
That's a
support that we get.
huge, yes. The community aspect is a huge part of what we do, which is why, amongst many other reasons, COVID was really hard. Of course, we couldn't host in-person adventures at the beginning of everything, so we had to cancel a lot until it warmed up. Then we were able to get some outdoor adventures in the Cleveland Zoo, Cedar Point, things like that, but we weren't able to host any group lunches or, where people would congregate into a group. So it was kind of like, here are your tickets and we miss you and we'll see you later.
Yeah.
But now, that's a huge part of what we do. We always try to find a communal space where families can eat, maybe do crafts, and just sit down, relax, and talk to one another. I will say that is probably my favorite part of adventure. Oh, I have a lot of favorite parts, but it's one of my top favorite parts is when I see maybe a family who's been a part of the program for a few years go up to a family who this is their first adventure, and then they sit and they talk, and then I see them connect online through our family Facebook groups. And it's just really cool because it's our mission at work. And it's what our adventures are all about, that family time and just connecting and finding a support system, because our families really, really need that support sometimes.
Definitely. Okay. Then I think the other thing I had was your calendar. So I showed that each chapter you can look, and my understanding is one of your big ones will be in June at Cedar Point.
It will be.
And then you do a Christmas gathering. Is that what I heard? That's another kind of big one.
Yes. I haven't added it to the calendar
Okay.
yet. I'm working on that.
It's all good.
But yes, those are our two biggest adventures of the year. For Cedar Point, we anticipate about 2,000 people to be in attendance.
Sure.
And for our holiday party, probably close to 1,800, I would guess, based off of just our growth and everything. Both amazing events. Cedar Point's a really wonderful partner of ours. And then our holiday adventure takes place at the IX Center in Cleveland every year. And there's food donated by Applebee's. There's games and crafts and bounce houses and a lot of other, I think, very fun things for families to enjoy and get ready for the holiday season. So yeah, those are our biggest of the year, that are always a lot of fun.
Hey, did we have any questions, or did I know you had something else you were going to share with us about?
I was going to say, so of course we have our active chapters is what we call them. So, Northern Ohio, Central Ohio, we have an active Michigan chapter, but for states or areas that we might not have an active chapter, like Illinois or Kentucky, I can't think of any other states at the moment, Florida, we are still serving families in those areas. Our national office, that's who enrolls them. During COVID, again, we couldn't have any in-person activities at the beginning of everything. And then once it started to get colder, especially up here in Northern Ohio, I think we all know outdoor events aren't really the most ideal. We ended up starting what we call Adventure in a Box program. And it was just a really fun, easy way for us to still deliver some sort of an adventure to our families that they could enjoy from the safety and like healthy area of their home. So the first one, we all did drive-through parties, family. We had 2 or 3 locations up here since we have the fat part of Ohio. And it was really cool. Families drove through. We put the boxes through their windows. We got them food, everything. And so we were able to continue that. We did some really fun ones, summer fun, a New Year's Eve family game night. They're all really themed. But now our national office has taken that idea and realized that we can serve families throughout the country through this. So they do a lot of really, I think they might have just done a tie-dye adventure where they shipped out tie-dye supplies to a couple thousand families across the US. So if you know families who would qualify for the program, have them enroll, and then they can sign up through our national office and receive Adventure in a Box fun until a active chapter is open in their state.
Love it. See, COVID has its benefits,
I
right?
know. Who would have thought? All of our best ideas.
Well, I think so. Well, I want to make sure that if anyone had any questions, they could get those out. But I do want to thank you so much for spending time with us today. And as I said, these recordings will be found on the lucasdd.org website under the resource tab under Finding Funds.